This is the way the table looks as we come into week 24. The Wigan Warriors with a 1-point lead over the champion St Helens. Bradford tucked there in third. There's a 5-point gap between the Leeds Rhinos and then a 6-point gap there ahead of the Castleford Tigers. And so if Leeds win here, they'll be just about guaranteed their place as the fourth member of the top 5 club in Super League 2000. The Tigers must win, though, to have any hope of catching Leeds and claiming fourth spot in the playoffs for themselves. They've lost 3 of the last 4, though, and they face Halifax away, then they're home to London, the Giants away, and home to Wakefield. They should make it, looking at that list. But the Leeds Rhinos know that if they win, they'll be 8 points clear of the Tigers with just 4 games remaining. Fourth spot on the table will just about be theirs, and the first round playoff would be at home, and probably against the Tigers. This is the way the two teams line up. Jason Flowers is at fullback. John Wells, Michael Eager, Barry John Mather returns after injury alongside Darren Rogers. It's Danny Orr and Brad Davis at halfback. And the forwards, Nathan Sykes, Dale Fritz continues for the injured Aaron Raper at hooker. Dean Sampson completes the front row. Lee Harland drops back into the second row alongside Darren Shaw, and Adrian Vowles, who filled in the centres last week, fills the usual spot of his at loose forward and captain. And on the bench, it's Ian Tonks, Paul Smith, Andy Lynch and Barry Eaton, on loan here from the Dewsbury Rams and hoping for a place in the Welsh World Cup squad. The coach is Stuart Raper. The Rhinos have Francis Cummins at fullback, Carl Pratt returns on the wing, Richie Blackmore, Keith Senior, Graham Mackay. Yestin Harris, who missed last week's victory over the Huddersfield Sheffield Giants, is at standoff and captain, and Ryan Sheridan is the scrum half. Up front, it's Darren Fleary, Lee Jackson, Barry McDermott, Anthony Farrell, David Barnhill and Andy Hay. And the bench, and this is where Leeds show their strength, Paul Sterling, Adrian Morley, Kevin Sinfield and Jamie Matthew. Coach is Dean Lance. So Yestin Harris leads the Leeds Rhinos. They out to face the Castleford Tigers, who they have beaten twice in Super League this year and twice last year. But then they lost the playoff at Headingley by 16 points to 23. One of 5 teams in Super League to top 100 tries for the year, 104 tries now, 85 conceded, and Keith Senior has scored 15 of those tries, and Lee Jackson enjoying his best run in the first team from the start in his Leeds career. Travelling army of Leeds supporters here, 13 straight wins behind them, a new club record in Super League. And Yestin Harris, who played in the Twickenham Sevens last week for the Leeds Rugby Club, is now back on the Super League stage. Well, the Tigers, this could be described as their point of no return. They know that behind them, Hull FC and Warrington are closing fast, and they would love a victory over Leeds here. It would silence once and for all this awful record of theirs against the teams lying ahead of them in the table. 9 fixtures played against the Wigans, Bradfords, St Helens and Leeds of this world. They've lost them all. If they lose this one tonight, it'll be 10 defeats from 10 matches. But the Castleford fans out here in the thousands again, and hoping that this will be the start of a run that could take them all the way through to Old Trafford and the grand final. Steve-o, they shook a couple of big-name clubs last year. They could do it yet again this year.
Well, they saved their best for the Leeds side, and it will be a really tough encounter, this, I can assure you.
Well, the players now are lining up, and once the fireworks have finished exploding behind the main stand over there will be a 1-minute silence for a lifelong supporter of theirs, 74-year-old Fred Fletcher, who tragically died here at the game against Warrington in July. He was a founder of the Kippax Amateur Rugby League Club in 1948. tribute to Mr. Fletcher, lifelong fan of this club, and our thoughts at that moment go to his family. Match referee today is Steve Ganson. Big match this. It always is when Leeds are in town. Little homely Castleford love to put one over on the big city neighbours. But it's going to be very tough for the Tigers as Iestyn Harris gets this game underway. High hanging kickoff. Davis is underneath it. Darren Shaw drives it in. Barnhill and Hay and Barry McDermott in for the first tackle of the match. Fritz at dummy half. Adrian Bowles trying to go through and up the middle of this Leeds defence.
Important that the skipper has a big game tonight. Been out of sorts of late over the past 3 or 4 weeks. Of course, last week had to play out of position. That's the problems that they have here, injury-wise, down at the Jungle. But they do need a big knock from their skipper.
Stuart Raper, the Castleford Tigers coach, he has placed a ban on his players from talking to the media about possible playoff aspirations until the playoff place is assured. They want them to be focused on the job in hand. That's an awkward bounce. That's the first try. Davis has got Castleford off to a flyer, but the referee hands it on.
Just have a look. I'm sure he's
He hands it on
Just check that.
to the video referee. He wants to check whether Davis was onside, and he's also asking for clarification of the grounding. That looked all right. It's a question here of whether Brad Davis was onside, but that ball took an awful bounce.
Well, the fullback Francis Cummings really should have got there a lot quicker. You cannot afford to do that. No doubt about forcing the ball down. That's okay. We'll check now to see whether he was onside, but it looks as though they're quite happy about it anyway. It looked okay.
I think we know what this decision's going to be, and there it is, 53 seconds. That's all it's taken for Brad Davis to score the first try. Leeds haven't touched the football yet, other than the kick-off, and Brad Davis with the first try for the Tigers.
Dream start, that's what they needed. Here's a kick over the top. Everyone's onside, but what on earth was Francis Cummings doing there? He really should have taken that ball on the full. Here's a kick. Oh, dearie me. He has been caught out severely as Cummings. The Tigers, they're roaring very quickly indeed.
Danny Orr then, with the conversion attempt. Danny Orr missed with 2 kicks last week at Odsall, but he's managed to find the correct direction tonight. Castleford 6, Leeds 0. Well, that's exactly the start this match needed.
Spoke to Stuart Raper earlier in the week, and he was confident that if they got off to a good start, but you could see there that Francis Cummings really should have gone for it. Should have dived to take that ball in the full. You make a mistake. Davis says, that's mine. It is. And the Tigers, whoa! They have stunned the Leeds followers who've come down the road.
Great start for Stuart Raper, just what he would have wished for, but a note of caution. Brad Davis also scored. Indeed, he opened the scoring in the classic match that they had here in May, when Leeds eventually won by 20 points to 18. Iestyn Harris kicking a last-minute conversion off the touchline that night. Well, the Tigers, wonderful start, and Adrian Bowles wrestled to the floor by Anthony Farrell, just inside his own half of the field. Fritz gives the ball inside to Lee Harlan, playing in his more accustomed second-row role tonight. And Dean Lance, the Leeds Rhinos coach, 13 straight wins behind him, emulating or aiming to become the first Leeds coach since Derek Turner in '72 to lift the league championship.
Really good kick there. Brad Davis really is on song in that department. No chance for Graham Mackay. Well, he's another Tiger that has been out of sorts over the past 2 months. And it's amazing what happens when you bring in another halfback. Remember Castleford, they brought from Dewsbury on loan Barry Eaton. And if there's ever a way to give you a kick up the backside, that's to bring in a player in your position. And Davis perhaps could be playing for his life.
First time that Leeds have had ball in hand in this match, and it's 4 minutes old. This is the way it has shaped up in all league meetings since 1973, when rugby league, split back to 2 divisions. Leeds with great advantage, and indeed here at Weldon Road as was, jungle as is, they hold sway. Oh, that's a woeful pass, and Leeds, well, they've been knocked out of kilter here early.
Lack of communication yet again. It's important now that the Rhinos just settle things down, trying to get themselves back into this match.
Harris with the kick, nobody there. Darren Rogers comes across from the wing, and he will run it back. Graham Mackay waiting for him. Mackay and Richie Blackmore getting the tackle in, but the ball was fed out wide just the same to Michael Eager, and Rogers now from dummy half.
Great play, quick thinking from the winger there. It was a superb kick from Harris. Turn them around, but look at the way that they're going through.
Nathan Sykes, hauled down eventually by Francis Cummings and Ryan Sheridan. This is the Castleford of vintage '99. It's with Davis, and he was looking and delaying the kick out wide. He's got it. Wells has scored. Another decision for the video referee, maybe.
See if he's onside.
Onside, offside, that's the question.
He's okay. He's definitely behind the kicker. It's a close call. Bang into the corner, but Leeds, they've been caught out yet again. This time, Carl Pratt. He was looking at the man coming to him, who eventually comes up with a try. He's out of picture on that side. And I think you'll find that Wells is all right, but what on earth? He actually took his eyes off the football, did Carl Pratt, and looked at Wells. Well, talking of Wells, Carl Pratt should find a hole big enough to sink into. I cannot believe that the winger, and if you see him now, he sees the ball, then he'll have a look to see where Wells is. Then has another look, then has another look at Wells. 2 Wells, we've got them all, we've got oil coming out all over the place. They've got the 4. Dean Lance will be absolutely furious. First try to Davies, Cummings didn't take it on the full. Second try, Pratt didn't take it on the full. Result, Tigers in control.
Try is given to John Wells, who celebrates the new 2-year deal he signed this week. And Dean Lance with problems early at the jungle. Just the start that the Castleford Tigers must have dreamed about.
Superb build-up, superb kick. What on earth was Pratt doing? I just cannot believe it. The more I see of it, the more I'm shaking my head. Well, the kicking game's on song, but you do not do that. You've got to make an attempt for the football. Well, we said we wanted a big game from Brad Davis. He's the architect yet again. Well finished there by Wells.
Danny Orr with the conversion to come from way out here on the touchline, but what a start from Brad Davis. Under a bit of fire recently for his performances. Danny Orr with the kick, just short. But Davis and his kicking has given Castleford a 10-0 lead. 2 kicks, 2 tries.
I just still cannot believe. Eyes on the ball, takes it off, looks at the man, eyes on the ball, takes it off, looks at the man, tries to attempt the tackle. Should have gone for the ball in the first instance. Sucker punch. Leeds are struggling.
That ball bounced off the body of Brad Davis. Darren Shaw clears up behind his own line. Leeds flood forward, led by Andy Hay. Well, it's been all Castleford for the opening, 7 minutes. 85% they have had of it, and what wonderful use they've made of that possession. They lead 10-0. Stuart Raper.
He will be happy.
Doesn't look it, does he? But he has to be absolutely calm inside, because this one is going according to plan. But Dean Lance has got his problems. because they're not completing the tackles, and Dale Fritz making inroads into Leeds territory.
Stuart Raper in the Castleford programme today made it quite clear that he'd spoken to his players.
Inventive play from Danny Orr. The ball lost in the tackle. Carl Pratt got a good tackle in on that occasion, but Danny Orr with a chip over the top was inventive, and then he hacked it forward again.
And he just didn't get the bounce there on the second time. He was leaning backwards.
Oh, and he's injured. Injured in the tackle as well. This is Iestyn Harris under pressure. 5 metres from his own line, running flat. Then gives it to Carl Pratt, and there's space for Pratt, but it's closed down immediately by Wells.
Hectic pace. The Tigers, they really are getting into the face of this Leeds outfit. They are not allowing the Rhinos to move 1 inch.
Andy Hay. Well, all the talk has been of the late charge by Warrington, and also the hopes and aspirations of Hull. And Castleford trying to put all that talk behind them here tonight with victory over the Leeds Rhinos, something that no club has done for the past 13 matches. Last defeat for the Rhinos, 44-2 at Headingley against the Bradford Bulls, and at that point they'd won only 3 of their opening 10. The playoffs seemed a million miles away. Then they beat Wigan 26-19, and then they beat Castleford here, and they were well and truly on the roll.
To be fair, they do save their best, don't they, when they come up against this Leeds outfit. A bogey side for them, bogey ground this in many, many years. But it's the start that they needed. They are really up for this one.
Bowles, long bullet pass into the arms of Darren Rogers. He turns and gives it to Eager, and Eager's down the line. Eager takes the tackle and is thrown into touch. The ball, though, flung back, and Blackmore picks up for the Rhinos. Well, this game is being played at breakneck speed.
Did well, did Eager, to get that ball back on the inside. Luckily that Blackmore was just sniffing around, but the way that this Castleford outfit are making the breaks must be of great concern to Dean Lance, Leeds coach, but they've got one back.
Good play from Andy Hay. Cummings was the man in support. Senior also got involved and claims from the terraces he took out a man who was trying to make the tackle, but the referee says play on, and it's with Fleary. And Fleary's up the middle, and he's 22 metres away from the Castleford line. It's with Sheridan now. He slips. Tackle effected then by Dale Fritz. Jackson to Harris, who will float the kick out wide, looking for the man mounting Mackay. Mackay has got it, but Castleford have the penalty.
Darren Rogers being taken out.
Blackmore it was who pushed him in the back.
At least Rogers was attempting to go for the ball on the full. It's a high kick from Harris.
Okay.
Yeah, you could see there that Blackmore, even though he turned his back, made contact.
It was with Michael Eager.
And then he makes contact with Rogers.
Adrian,
spotted by the referee, Steve Ganson.
Okay, no.
You could see the official quite happy to give the penalty. Dean Lance far from happy. All the experience showing there from Richie Blackmore. Often kids the referee when you turn, not be face on to the man attempting to get to the ball. But he's not going to be kidded tonight, Steve Ganson.
Castleford back in possession again. This is Nathan Sykes. Expert at tackling from the Leeds Rhinos. Lee Jackson leading the way. Fritz dummy half. Really up against it, against one of the best hookers in the business in Jackson tonight is Dale Fritz. There he is at dummy half again. Gets the ball away to Haaland. Oh! Haaland was caught by Blackmore.
Was he ever?
And the referee's gone straight to his back pocket. And I think Richie Blackmore could be in heaps of trouble here.
Was it the elbow? That's the most important factor. I think he might just calm things down and put this on report, Eddie.
Everything's right. Ball infuser.
He steps. Ooh, and he goes with the elbow.
Okay, that's right. Ball infusers. Okay, Frank.
Oh, that is send-off time.
Well,
The
Steve
step
Ganson
from Lee Haaland. That is a malicious attack to the
He's hitting with the
face.
elbow, is my reaction. Can you confirm that's the case?
He'll go.
He has
If the
hit
two
him with the
judges
elbow.
confirm it.
He's
I'll
gone
give
to the
it.
back pocket. Oh, red card. Blackmore's off. He caught Lee Harlan with the elbow that was risen in the tackle. Steve Ganson's immediate reaction was to go to the back pocket, and Leeds' trouble continues.
Well done, the official. He kept calm, but this is a bad one. Step, deliberate lunge there from the New Zealand international
and former Castleford player Richie Blackmore in the dressing room, and not even 13 minutes gone and Leeds are down to 12 men. It's an uphill battle now.
Certainly is, but that was foolish there from Blackmore. Just the mere fact that he'd been beaten by the step. Oh, that's a poor pass. Just about to say the step from Lee Harlan had completely beaten. And this is the bad pass from Vowles. He's lost control of it. Stopped by the touch judge. Well, it's been their problem over the past 3 or 4 games is their handling. I'm sure that they've been working pretty hard on that department. That's the first mistake that Castleford have come up with. But with a 10-0 lead, they'll be happy.
They will, and with 12 men up against them, Leeds now have to reorganise big style. This is Fleary. Well, Richie Blackmore, big loss, the New Zealand international. Castleford now caught offside. Blackmore tries in 3 of the last 4 and in the best form of his career. And this is not the place that Richie Blackmore would want to be sent off at, former club.
Well, they are getting out of the traps very quickly.
And there is Richie Blackmore cutting a lone figure in the dressing room.
That's good now, move. Out we go, Lee.
McDermott plays the ball to Lee Jackson, who finds Sheridan, who in turn finds Darren Fleary. And Fleary uncompromisingly drives it to within 9 metres of the line. It's now with Harris. And Harris spins the ball back, but Farnham had overrun it. Oh, and Danny Orr took a wild swing at it. And the ball sailed out on the full.
Okay.
Trying to kick the ball straight upfield. Just didn't get connection of it. Well, I don't know how he's got that.
First knock on.
Well, he said there's a first knock on. What knock on? I never saw a knock on anywhere.
Neither did the Leeds players. They're furious.
Well, there's no way in the world that David Barnhill got a fingertip to it. And even if he did, it was going backwards. Ooh, that's a big hit from Harris.
On Barry John Mather.
What a great shoulder charge there.
Here's Adrian Vowles, and now it's with Dale Fritz again. McDermott's the man who brings him down. Well, as well as this match tonight, the Bradford Bulls are playing, and they're racing away against Huddersfield Sheffield Giants. New coach, of course, Tony Smith for the Giants, but Bradford 22-0 up after 20 minutes of the first half. That was off the face of Carl Pratt.
It won't go back to 6.
The referee gives the knock on.
Well, they certainly need the football, do the Leeds Rhinos. And it's time for a little bit of composure here. If Castleford can continue with this wonderful defence, they're just not allowing Leeds to do anything. No space whatsoever. You can see how they've moved up quickly yet again.
Andy Hay is wrestled to the floor on halfway by Jason Flowers. And Hay, looking at Harlan, wasn't too happy with the attention then. Farrell.
Well, that silly play from Hay.
Got the ball away, boot on it. Fleary's dropped it under pressure. Castleford have got it back. Darren Shaw in possession for them.
This is all about pressure, trying to keep the ball alive in impossible situations. Leeds on the rack, deservedly so as well. Pathetic try and attempt to try to keep that ball alive.
Adrian Vowles, the Castleford skipper, 20 metres away from the Leeds line. Davis to Sykes, turns the ball back, knock on.
Just couldn't do it.
Play on though, Leeds have it back with Fleary.
It's an outstanding start there. Just overrunning did the standoff Danny Orr.
Brilliantly picked up by Carl Pratt, who's escaped the clutches of Davis. Carl Pratt has got Jason Flowers and John Wells to beat. Releasing the ball brilliantly to Senior. Senior under pressure from Shaw.
Trouble is, no one was there on the second phase of attack. Senior desperate to offload.
Here now is Harris. Back it goes to Mackay. And the Tigers watching him. Referee gives Leeds the penalty for interference at the play of the ball. Quick tap taken by Harris. Big hit on Harris though by Dale Fritz inevitably. Jackson to McDermott. He'll punch a hole up the middle if he can.
Boy, the adrenaline is pumping out there.
Jackson, Sheridan, Barnhill. And a big hit on Barnhill by Dean Sampson, and Ryan Sheridan's flat out in back play. Play on. Harris, Farrell! Farrell, oh, into the arms of Rogers. Well, this is incredible, this game. 10-0 to the Tigers. Leeds reduced to 12 men. It's end to end.
Trying to keep the ball alive with Farrell, but the touch judge is on. He's waited until the play has stopped. So there's obviously going to be some concern about an off-the-ball incident when Sheridan went down.
Okay. Wide advantage. Yeah. Advantage obviously to Leeds. Yeah. Leeds the ball, went in behind the... Okay. And knocked into the ground.
Penalty to Leeds on the way here.
Okay.
And it's Brad Davis who's going to be pulled out by referee Steve Ganson.
No, it was out like that, mate. Let me sort him.
Well, the big hit came from Sampson just adjacent to where this occurred.
Where's he gone, Brad Davis? Okay, Brad, we took him out after the penalty. No, that's what the decision is, and it's a penalty. Accept it, that's the end. Okay, play the advantage.
Well, the referee indicating there was a use of an elbow,
okay, mate,
but...
your penalty.
Just a shoulder.
Going for
Bump
goal,
in the back.
It was late. No doubt he didn't raise the elbow. But he certainly was late. You could well see the point that Davis committed himself a few seconds too late, well after Sheridan had offloaded.
Sheridan okay, just got a bang in the back. Touch of whiplash maybe.
Well, this is interesting. Justin Harris has called for the kicking mound. And they're going to take the 2 on offer, which that's rather surprised me. They haven't had much possession of this football. I think they may have been better served if they would have kicked it right into the corner, applied the pressure. But a long way to go yet. He obviously feels, as does the coach Dean Lance, that 2 points at this point would be extremely vital.
Interesting point about Justin Harris. He missed the win against the Giants last week. It was the first time since May of 1999 that Leeds had won without Justin Harris in the team. He's in the team all right tonight, but they're 10-0 down midway through this first half, and this kick, the first real opportunity that Leeds have had for points on the ball. Tigers fans behind the post doing their best to put Harris off. Welsh international comes up, cool as a cucumber. And it's Castleford 10, Leeds 2.
Well, they'll receive possession, but way down in their own quarter. This will obviously be a pretty long kick downfield by the Tigers.
Well, 85 tries for Castleford before tonight. They scored 2 quick ones here against the Leeds Rhinos. They have got the 4th worst attack in the competition. But only the Bulls and Wigan have a better defence than Stuart Raper's men. And like all Aussie coaches, Stuart Raper believes that defence wins you matches.
Keeping hold of the ball as well has been their problem. And they certainly seem to have overcome that in these opening minutes. Referee Steve Ganson just having a quick word to the second rower Lee Harlan before the kick-off, saying calms things down. We mentioned the fact that Andy Hay went looking for him. And they are really getting into this Leeds outfit, both physically and verbally.
McDermott not too impressed with the attention he was receiving from Dale Fritz. These two, of course, are members of the top 5 club, and Super League 5 will have its grand final at Old Trafford on Saturday, October the 14th. We can tell you it kicks off at 6:30. We can't tell you anything else about the game, but Super League Europe might be able to. 0113 244 114. During normal office hours, the phone line will be open first thing on Monday morning. We can tell you that Castleford and Leeds will be probably in the playoffs, hunting for a place in the grand final. Other than that, well, if Super League Europe have got a crystal ball, they'll tell you what the Super League grand final matchup will be, but I somehow doubt it. It's with Davis now. Good ball to Danny Orr. He steps inside Senior, but Barnhill was waiting. Darren Shaw waits at dummy half, finds Nathan Sykes. Sykes was lined up by Fleary, but Fleary missed him. The next two did. And McDermott was given a bit of a tap on the back of the head by Adrian Vowles then, and didn't like it. Cummings will collect this on his own try line. Great chase by Castleford.
Outstanding. Trying to get him down, you could see the ball carrying arm. Good work from Davis, made sure that the arm did not hit the ground. That way you can still move him. Well, this is a great defensive effort.
Well, it's been an explosive 23 minutes, hasn't it? 10-2 to the Castleford Tigers.
Sure has. Phew,
on the charge and in charge at the moment. And Sterling on for Anthony Farrell. Sheridan with the kick downfield. Well collected on the fly by Jason Flowers. New bleached blonde haircut for the Castleford fullback.
Took that well. Positioned himself so superbly. Anticipating the kick. Knows that Sheridan is opting not to kick towards the wingers, but he's barreling that ball down the middle. But Castleford, even when they've got the possession, quick play the balls, and they are really getting some yardage upfield.
There's a real confrontation building here between number 10 there, Barry McDermott for the Leeds Rhinos, and Adrian Vowles, the Castleford Tigers captain. This is Nathan Sykes, meanwhile. Every time that McDermott and Vowles come within feet of each other, there's a real verbal battle going on.
They're not the only ones out there either. These are great tactics, trying to upset the Rhinos out of their style. And at the moment you can see they're being very flat indeed. They are not making the yards forward, struggling to get over the advantage line.
It's with Sheridan, now it's with Keith Senior. He's got Mather ahead of him, and Wells gives it to Pratt. Pratt is grounded by Danny Orr and John Wells. Senior, Sheridan, Barnhill. Stopped dead in his tracks by Darren Shaw.
He knows his side's in trouble.
Harris, Andy Hay. Andy Hay, who was with Castleford at the outset of his career. High midfield bomb from Harris. Flowers is underneath it, but there's no pressure on the Castleford fullback. Senior arrived very late.
But at least he arrived. That's their big problem. They're extremely lethargic, the Rhinos, tonight. No point in getting a high kick from your skipper if only one man is there for the chase.
Dean Sampson, who was limping a few moments ago, gets a beautiful ball away to Rogers. He's got support from Eager. Eager, though, now is on his own, trying to get away from Cummings, spinning. The tackle then completed by Paul Sterling.
Did well, Sterling. Got him on the back, made sure he couldn't offload.
Short ball, that was touched, that will be a knock-on.
Oh, they'll bring him back.
Carl Pratt must come back. Carl Pratt will win this race, but he's got to go all the way back because it was knocked on. No try.
I think he knew it as well.
Sheridan doesn't, and he didn't know it.
Well, definitely a knock-on. There was a hand in there, little doubt about it. Touch judge, very quick. A little short ball there from Shaw. Certainly touched by a Leeds player. The horses go through the middle, and there was Senior.
Off Senior's hand, no doubt.
And he went forward. I got the impression when Carl Pratt picked the ball up from the goal area, that he knew. Well, a smile on his face, Keith Senior. I don't know what he's got to smile about. So the scoreline at 10-2.
Well, he definitely got a hand to it. All the Leeds supporters in this ground looking intently at our big screen in the corner, and they will have seen that Senior's hand flashes out there, touches the ball as it came off Darren Shaw. So Castleford with head and feet at the scrum. Here's Vowles, gonna go round at Iestyn Harris. Harris drags him to the floor. Danny Orr's been limping for much of this match as well. Davis looks like he's on fire tonight.
The Leeds defence, they're hanging back.
Vowles to Sykes. They're inching ever closer to the line. 5 metres away now. With Davis. Here's Orr. And Orr taking them on at the middle again. Brought to ground by Barnhill's tackle.
Beautiful step there from the standoff.
Davis steps inside McDermott. Davis. And then is flung to the ground by David Barnhill. Last one for the Castleford Tigers. Danny Orr, back it goes. Lovely play, Flowers. And Shaw flicks the ball away, but the ball-carrying arm hit the deck. Tackle was completed.
Nice option. Leeds anticipated perhaps that the Tigers would go for the kick. But this defence, it's just fantastic.
Well, this is the sort of display that we came to expect from Castleford last year.
Oh, it's got to be a penalty. John Mather wouldn't release the leg. And that silly play when you've got the opposition in their own quarter to just lose your concentration and to give away a penalty lets them off the hook. It's important now that Castleford try to make sure that Leeds do not score a try. He knows it is Stuart Rafer. He knows how important it is to go into the half-time break with a decent lead.
Adrian Morley has appeared off the bench. David Barnhill, the man he's replaced. It's with Sheridan, now it's with Harris. Oh, Harris showed it to Mackay. Castleford took the bait. Harris to the corner, scores. Brilliant try from the Welsh wizard. Oh, what a dummy that was. The entire Castleford Tigers defence, they took it. Hook, line and sinker. And the field just opened up ahead of Harris, and he had the pace to get home in the corner.
Most amazing thing about when you throw a dummy, the slower you do it, the more effective it can be. Scooted towards the corner there. Outstanding play. See how he just threw that little one, it wasn't much. And Adrian Vowles took it. Boy oh boy, the Rhinos needed that. Vowles failed to fill in, Davis had gone out wide. Harris had gone for the corner.
What a talent. Started the match 3 short of the 100 mark in his career. Now has 98. And that was a piece of individual brilliance from Iestyn Harris. Will lead the Welsh charge in the Lincoln Financial Group World Cup later this year. Now he knows just how important this is. It's 10-6, this kick, and he kicked one from the touchline, remember, in May. Similar angle to this, but at the other end of the field, to win the match for the Rhinos here, against all the odds. Can he kick this one now and put Leeds back within 2 points? Just wide of the post this time. But it's 10-6. The 12-man Rhinos have bounced back.
Beautiful twist to the body. You see the man circle go out wide. That's Davis. The half circle Vowles. They just couldn't get to him. The twist, the turn, the little dummy, and he had the speed. Nothing that Flowers could do.
Iestyn Harris, 9 tries for the season now. Danny Orr kicked off then, and he grimaced in pain. He's limping behind the defensive line that charged forward, led by Andy Lynch and Lee Harlan. He is in a bit of problems, is Danny Orr.
That would be a bitter blow to the Tigers.
Here's Adrian Morley.
That's a little bit more.
And Sampson is injured as well.
It's been a bruising opening. It's first half hour, and not surprisingly, Dean Lance is on the sidelines.
Leeds coming more and more into it, though, and this fella leading the way. The ball was stripped, 2-on-1. Was it?
Down by you.
It's going to be a head and feet of the scrum to Leeds Rhinos. It was one-on-one.
Well, I'm not so sure.
No, I thought that was... I thought the ruling was if it was one man left in a tackle after two had been involved, it was deemed as stripping the ball and it was a penalty.
Either way, they'll get the possession, and that's what they need. Little of that in the first 10 minutes.
But he's leading the way, Iestyn Harris again. And here he is in possession now. Gives it wide to Cummins. And Cummins is being forced towards the touchline by Graham Mackay. Ball was lost inside, bounced here, there and everywhere, knock on.
Well, Rodgers had the opportunity to pick up the ball, and then Sterling took it away. Interesting, this one. He was still moving, and then he released it.
Well, I didn't see a knock on there.
No, I'm saying. Rodgers had the opportunity to pick it up. Sterling just pinched it off him. One-on-one. This is all right, still moving. It goes backwards. Rodgers picks it, and then it's pinched off him. Nothing wrong with that at all, one-on-one.
Not the view of referee and touch judge.
Big hit there from Mr. Morley. This is a crack.
It is.
They rarely let us down, these two sides. No doubt about it, they hate each other.
Figuratively speaking. Good hands from Castleford, brilliant stuff. Egan out wide to Rodgers. Just a touch of rain before the match. Rodgers flicks the ball back, Andy Hayes got it back for Leeds.
I'm not so sure that they've got this right either. He was on his way and Rodgers released it. Yep, before he went in. That really should have been play on either way. The Rhinos will get possession yet again. But a beautiful piece of rugby league football from the Tigers.
A couple of mystifying decisions from Mr. Ganson. But I think given on the call of the touch judge on both occasions. Jamie Matthew, the super sub for Leeds, is on, and he's halted on halfway. Later score coming in from Odsall, 28-6 at half-time there. The Bulls against the Giants.
So important that Leeds realise that they've got to share the work. One man down, of course, it will take its toll later in this match. So therefore, they cannot afford to have anybody out there that's shirking the work.
No one is at the moment, no one on either side. Jamie Matthew in possession there for Barry McDermott. Sheridan on to Harris, a little dab through from Harris. Collected though by Jason Flowers. Good chase, led by Pratt.
Much better. Couple chases early in this match. Leeds let their own players down. And I'm sure that the mere fact that Dean Lance came from the stand to the touchline, so he could get a few messages out there, direct.
Read a quote from him earlier today, Steve. He says, OK, they've won 13 in a row. Defeat will have to happen sometime. And rather than talk about 14 possible wins tonight, he was just a little guarded that, you know, one of these days Leeds are going to come unstuck. I suppose if he had to trade one defeat for a win in the grand final, this would be it. But having said that, Leeds are in no mood to go down without all guns blazing.
Sensational play there from the fullback, Francis Cummins. OK, he came up with a mistake that led to Brad Davis' early try, but that was superb work by the fullback.
And that was superb work by Michael Eager on Paul Sterling. Here is Andy Hay, getting Leeds to the halfway line, surrounded by 4 white jerseys. Eventually he goes to ground. Jackson, Matthew showed the ball to Morley, took the tackle of Shaw and Sykes.
Not many runs from the hooker Lee Jackson as yet.
This is Fleary.
Quite happy just to offload.
There's Jackson again, offloads to Harris. Oh, little step inside. Oh, it's to Morley. Crucial ankle tap, but he got the ball away to Matthew. Matthew to Mackay. Mackay's kick is picked up by Eager, and here comes Castleford. Whoa, take your eyes off this match at your peril. What a corker.
Sensational play from both sides. Harris got it out to Morley. Morley flipped it away. Matthew, what a great take. 50-50, Mackay opted for the kick.
What an important ankle tap on Morley by the man in possession now, Jason Flowers. Morley was celebrating a try, he must have been, then his ankles went from under him. And there he is in the tackle on Lee Harland. Well, they have watched him in Australia and they're waiting for him to get to the Sydney Roosters next year. But there is important business, I was going to say, to be done here in this country first. Beginning with Leeds' assault on the grand final and continuing with England's bid for the World Cup. This is Sterling. He was just flattened by an Exocet missile. Now he's on his feet again. It's with Morley. Well, this is a treat. It really is. Matthew.
They've got to be sore when they go in at half-time.
Remember, Leeds are down to 12. Harris with the kick over the top to turn Rodgers round. And Rodgers will come back.
It'll be an important facet, that, the kick and chase. Good work from Rodgers yet again.
Good tackle by Paul Sterling. Here's Flowers. Well, he has spoken in the past few weeks, Stuart Raper, about the lack of effort, about the fact he's going to flog his players in training after defeats. But this must be the best 38 minutes that Castleford have had for months. He'll have few complaints about this.
Well, they're coming in from all over the joint, aren't they? Little wonder that all the players out there, they're digging deep, trying to get as much oxygen inside as they can.
Danny Orr was under pressure from Lee Jackson.
Nothing wrong with it. The hooker had already committed himself.
Here's Francis Cummins.
Pretty high though, swinging right arm. Didn't see that one on the first show.
Now Graham Mackay. Leeds man mountain off the wing has moved infield now because Sterling is there. Both teams up to the 100 mark and both have missed only 7 tackles. That's fantastic work from these two clubs. Matthew on halfway. Stuart Raper knows his men are in a battle, even though Leeds are down to 12 and Leeds now have a penalty. We're in the last minute before the big screen. Wonder if he's going to have a shot at goal. He's checked the screen, which is counting down as Matthew. That's why the penalty's given, and Harris is going to have a kick at this.
Don't stand him up and start shouting at him. And the other thing, the rule states you've got to clear the rough. Get to one side or the other. All right, that's the end of it.
Got it spot on, and yet again we find Brad Davis in a chatty mood, which amazes me. We saw last week.
Keep going, it's good.
He was very chatty indeed, and he wasn't the captain. Adrian Valls is. It amazes me, Eddie, why some of these merry whistleblowers just stand for it. Just get that little yellow thing out and say, you see this? Keep chatting to me and I'll use it.
Well, he's used 1 card already, and Richie Blackmore is off for the duration. The card was red. This is Harris with this penalty attempt then. You can see how far away he is. That's the halfway line. And it's just about bang centre. So it's a question of whether he's got the length on the kick and whether the radar is tuned in to this right boot. Last kick of the first half. On its way. 2 points. Harris has kicked it. There's the siren. 10-8.